Just sitting here in the forest, contemplating, healing, meditating, and wanting to bring you guys in to a process that started yesterday. And my intention in sharing this is so you can see how these little tiny things that we do in our day to day can really help us in our healing. And, we talk a lot about, taking supplements and, doing different modalities for healing, whether that's Western, whether that's alternative or mixed or whatever. Like, it's always about doing a lot. But a lot of it, I believe, is healing. And, we know the body keeps the score. It's an important book if you haven't read it. But just understanding how things live inside of us. And this healing journey, like, to me, the beauty of cancer is how it's helped me heal, like, beyond the tumors, healing my heart and my soul. So yesterday, I've been really busy getting ready to go on this trip to India with my daughter, a deep pilgrimage. My son is not talking to me. My daughter's barely been talking to me. I've been really struggling in my interpersonal relationships. And I've been really busy trying to get ready, really spinny in my head. And yesterday morning, I was called to go on my morning walk, and I was like, it was really raining hard, and I was like, no, and I started cleaning and doing all these other things. And then I got called to go into town, and I was like, I don't really need to go into town right now. I could do this anytime, but it was like, go, go, go. So I got called into town, my intuition, and I needed like a t-shirt because I have 0 shirts to go to India with because of the way you can't wear straps. So I'm like, okay, so I go. I do a few little errands. I talked to the other mother who her son doesn't speak to her, and we got in this deep conversation about that. It was really healing. Went into the crystal shop, and I'm like, I definitely don't need anything in here. I did ask for a travel crystal. She totally guided me to this one that was recommended in this book I just read. She did a gong healing on me while I was in the store. And I was like, oh, this is feeling really good. Did a few other errands. And I start going up the mountain. I start going home, and the mountain is calling me. And I generally never, I don't go up the mountain very often. And I was like, you don't have time for that. And I was like, well, you can just drive up and drive down. You can go to the snow. But I really didn't even want to go to Bunny Flat. I was like, okay. So I start driving up, and I see the turnoff to the first place that I came to on the mountain when I had a very hurt heart from this relationship that I knew was not right for me. I spent a year doing things that were really against my inner guidance, but I just kept doing them. And it ended badly, and I ended up really brokenhearted. And I ended up on the mountain over Lionsgate in 2020 with my rose quartz, my Kuan Yin statue, my cacao, and a lot of tears, a lot of sadness. And I was here during Lionsgate. I didn't even know what that was. And I ended up spending a week or two in this spot. And I just got called to go back there. And I haven't been back there in years. So I started going up, and I saw this Jeep to the side, and I thought it was very surprising. There's generally never people up there. And I was like, okay, cool, I'm going to keep going. And I wanted to go to the spot where I camped. And I see this patch of snow and tracks going through it. And immediately I was like, oh, don't go through there. And I stop, I turn around. And as I'm turning around, I was like, no, you're supposed to go in there. And I was like, you've got brand new tires. It looks clear. You're fine. So I start going. I almost get to the end, and I get stuck. I put it in reverse. I'm backing out, and I get stuck again. It's like not a long patch, but a long enough patch I was stuck. So now I'm like, I spun out my wheels, which I know better. And now I'm like, I'm really stuck. I'm trying to dig myself out. It's 3:00. It's starting to rain. I went back to this Jeep, and I put a note on it. I put it inside of his little rear side view mirror. I put it so it wouldn't get wet. And I was just like, if you can please help me. And I gave my phone number. And then I walked back to my car. I'm trying to dig it out. And then I was like, I should go back. I go back to this guy's Jeep. It's gone. And now I'm like, no way. He didn't see my note, I'm sure, because he had a winch and everything. So I'm sitting there debating, like, who do I call? And the person that I know that can get me out is the last person I dated. And we have not been together since last June. And it's been a complicated dynamic for me in many ways. But these two people really connected me to the forest. They really connected me to exploring, going far and going deep into the forest. I don't know, like, finding that place originally for my first camping trip up there was it was an exploration for me, an adventure to keep going, because this Turkish young man kept saying, like, just keep going on the, dirt roads are where the magic is, and keep going and keep going. And that's a big part of our relationship, was going deep into the forest. This home that I live in, my van, I believe are all side journeys from side effects from that relationship. So here I am going to go and, like, be in the space where I was when that relationship ended, and then to get stuck and couldn't get there. But then I ended up walking up there after I called this other person I'd been dating, and I was like, hey, I'm stuck, and he had some phone calls. So he's like, I can come later. And I was like, that's fine. And so I spent my time going back and sitting in the place where I'd put my first tent, being held similar to this, or with these trees around me. A heart had come through in the sunlight when I'd been camping there 6 years ago. And it was just a really sweet space. And I cried and I sat with the trees and I'm like, thank you. It was the beginning of my self-love journey, where I sat there every day and just cried and sat with Kuan Yin and sat with, like, why have I abandoned myself so much? And so sitting there yesterday and just getting to cry and thank the trees and think of how far I've come since that first trip. And then, the time with my van, and then the just sitting with the woodpeckers, and somebody made a heart out of corn and white beans in this space. And I was like, what is this? I found a blue lace agate little crystal. I really enjoyed my time being stuck in the forest. And I was like, oh, I do have time. My whole day got spent stuck and in the forest and having magical experiences with people. And I came home and I didn't turn on my phone. I did do a few messages, but I didn't go on social media. I was in bed at 10 o'clock, reading my book, asleep, woke up really feeling great this morning. And I was like, I needed that day to reset. I needed my forest time. I have not had enough forest time this past 6 months, with my van being broke and my life getting so busy with all I'm birthing, and the trees have been calling me and I've not been listening. And so the guy was dating, he came out, he freed me. I showed him around. We had a nice drop in, and I was just feeling, the gratitude for these relationships, of what I've learned about myself. And while these relationships were really painful and really not aligned, I learned a lot. And so yesterday I kept thinking, why did this happen to me today? And I was like, okay, I got to spend time in the forest. That was really beautiful. The irony of the connection of the last person I dated before this person, and these two connections in this time. And I was like, okay. And I shared with my friend, I'd been stuck in the forest, and this morning she sent a message and she said, oh, the forest claimed you. And that hit me so hard. My heart, I just started crying. And it's been a theme that's been coming up for me about being claimed, and especially by men and my family. And my biological father, he was not really in the picture and didn't wasn't really wanting to be a father, and he passed away when I was 2. And so that wound has been coming up a lot lately. And my dad, who adopted me, Russ, who was my dad, he claimed me. Like, he adopted me. He made me his. He told everybody I was his daughter. And I didn't feel any different than his 4 other blood kids, like, he never made it where I was different. I wasn't his stepdaughter. He always, my daughter, I love you, and just claimed me. And I don't have that feeling from many people in my life. Like, a lot of my friends are starting to like claim, I'm feeling claimed by my loyal friends, but there was this sense of my kids don't really claim me to do the things as a mother. I don't feel claimed, even sometimes by my mother. And in relationships, my ex, like, he didn't claim me as his wife. He didn't shout it to the rooftops that I was his. I always felt like, oh, people don't even know we're married, and I felt this way in these relationships. We weren't partners, we were just dating. And yet the forest claims me, like my father claimed me. And that feeling of the trees, they call me. These trees call me. And the forest, like, when I'm here, like, it's present with me. And so this simple listening to my intuition, getting stuck, and my intuition was like, keep going. And I was like, why? And I'm stuck. But then I've had this beautiful, all these things come through. And if I was on my screen, if I was, with a bunch of people and whatnot, I wouldn't have experienced that. But my intuition guided me to get stuck, to be able to process these things, and to really, like, let my body feel like these people love you, and it's okay that they don't claim you as theirs, and don't put in the effort into relationship, in like healing the relationship, with having the uncomfortable conversations, being accountable for your own experiences, and really saying, like, I'm committed to, like, healing with you. And so it's really clear for me that I am only interested in putting my energy where it's reciprocal, and where we're mutually claiming each other as we want to be in this together, and we're going to work together to do this. And it doesn't mean these other relationships aren't important and aren't something to put energy to, but I just see where I have really been over giving to the relationships that are not giving back in the same way. So I want to be in the relationships with the things and the people that are really nurturing and being reciprocal. And I learned a lot from my day yesterday. So I hope that this storytelling share in this deep, very vulnerable, this is a lot for me to share this in this way, that I hope that this helps somebody in understanding, like, how we need to go deeper into, like, the listening, the learning. And yesterday I could have just made it about something different, like, oh, I just got stuck. But there was so much more of why I got stuck there, the people that helped me, the place that I was stuck, and then, what's unfolded since. So this is how I heal. This is how I process. This is why I believe I'm still alive today, is the way that I look at life through a different lens, and deeper, and being in nature is really healing on so many levels, like physically, mentally, spiritually. So I hope this inspires somebody to get out in nature and do some of your own processing. And I'd love to hear how this story resonates and what you take from it, and if you've had these experiences, or if maybe something I'm sharing is clicking something for you. And thanks for staying with me, and we'll talk soon.